So the marathon 40-day hearing in the Ayodhya title dispute is finally over. Now, of course, we've all heard about this as the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case, because that's exactly what this case is about. Does the land where the Babri Masjid used to stand and its adjacent areas, the surrounding areas, did this area belong to the Sunni Waqf Board, the Muslim group which looks after mosques and other sort of religious owned areas? Does it belong to the Nirmohi Akhada, a Hindu religious group which has traditionally conducted worship of Ram in Ayodhya? Or does it in fact belong to Ram Lalla himself, the god himself? Does he own the land? Now, these are the questions which were here before the Supreme Court in this case. It had obviously first been filed in courts before this. In 2010, the Allahabad High Court had held that the area should be split between these three entities, the Nirmohi Akhada, the Ram Lalla, as well as the Sunni Waqf Board. Now, that was back in 2010. That's what the Allahabad High Court said. So in the Supreme Court, those arguments are all re-litigated, essentially because what we had to decide here was who owns this land. And remember, it's not just about possession, it's about who has a right to own it, who has a title to it. Now, the Sunni Waqf Board say, look, we've had this area for years. This land belonged to us. It was given to us by the Mughal groups, by the Mughals, by various Mughal rulers. It was specified in the laws and in documents given then. There is documents from the British rule period which specifies that this land belongs to them. And in 1886, when the Hindus did try to ask for the land to be given to them for worship, the courts had rejected it. So that's what the Sunni Waqf Board has said. The Nirmohi Akhada says, look, from 1934 onwards, we've actually been having possession of the land. Like, so in 1934, they'd kind of taken over it and they'd been conducting worship of Ram at the area. So they said, look, this is our, we've had possession since 1934. You never filed a suit for ages because the Sunni Waqf Board only filed a case in 1961 saying that it was their land. In fact, it was the Nirmohi Akhada who first filed a case in 1959 saying that they had title over the area. So they said, look, you took so long, your claim is also time barred and therefore you have no claim to come and stand on here. And we've had this area for so long, it's been uncontested, so therefore we should have ownership of the land. Now that's a concept called adverse possession in law, which they've relied on. Ram Lalla's arguments are not really based in law. It's pretty much more about the fact that historically and as they claim, and obviously as some of us might call it mythology, Ram was from the area, that's where he was born, that's where he ruled, and therefore this area all belongs to him. It was wrongly taken away, should never have been taken away, and that's why it should belong to Ram Lalla. Now, so interestingly, the Hindu parties are slightly different things, because the Nirmohi Akhada traces its history back as the Shibets and the Pujaris for worship of Ram Lalla, whereas Ram Lalla's representative here came through the VHP, who launched a lot of agitation, then filed a case and got themselves involved in all of this. So that's the sort of legal issues at play here. That's what the court has to decide. The judgment has been reserved by the Constitution bench, the 5-judge bench, that is, which is headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. Now, he is reserved judgment in the case, and the matter will obviously be decided before he retires on the 17th of November. The court will have to decide, do we go with a similar option with the way the Allahabad High Court looked at it, or sort of splitting it into three, or should we actually make a decision and say, you know what, look, the adverse possession argument looks good, so therefore give it to the Nirmohi Akhada, or you know what, look, the title argument raised by the Waqf Board looks good, so let's give it to the Muslim parties, or do they actually give credence to these sort of religious and almost mythological arguments raised by Ram Lalla's representatives? Now, that's the big question here. What will they give credence to? As we said, traditionally this should be just viewed as a title dispute and looked at purely in terms of the competing legal claims, but this is Ayodhya and a lot more gets involved in it. At the end of the day, there was some last-minute controversy with the chairman of the Sunni Waqf Board allegedly filing a withdrawal application to pull away the suit, saying that the Sunni Waqf Board was withdrawing its case in the court. No such application was filed by the Waqf Board, and its lawyers completely denied this, though an application is reported to have been filed in the court by Farooqi, the chairman of the Sunni Waqf Board. Now, none of that came up in court, nor did there were again rumors that there was going to be a settlement offer by the mediation panel, which had been sitting and looking at all of this and was trying to find a settlement between the parties. Again, none of that materialized. So that's what we have with this case. Do make sure that you follow the Quint for all the updates as and when the judgment comes out. And, of course, all the updates from the Supreme Court on and when it happens from inside